falling over trying to climb in this thing. Howdy folks, good day to you. This is a 1997 Chevrolet, you can't see it because it's dark. Chevrolet 1500 four-wheel drive, 3-inch body lift, 183,642 miles. I introduced this car in an earlier video because the rear axle seals blew up and coated the brake shoes with a whole bunch of differential oil and wrecked the brakes. Also found leaking wheel cylinders out in the back on both sides. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pull this shiny blue differential cover off, pull these axles out, change these axle seals. While all that's apart, we're going to put new shoes on it, we're going to turn the drums, and also replace these leaking cylinders. So stay tuned, this is going to be a fantastic video. A little bit higher. That's good. Down the locks for safety. Down on the locks for safety. Now, I did not record this part, but earlier we cut these front rotors, threw a set of pads on there. There's a couple other things that one of the other fellows did. I think we replaced some front end parts on it. Yeah, this stuff right here, the steering linkage. And now I'm coming in because we're gonna do that rear axle job. But this is our Silvery Rado wide angle view. Pretty cool too. They put the newer body style mirrors on it, the extendable mirrors. Those came on, I think, the 06s through 11, something like that. Either way, those are nicer mirrors than what it came with. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Got the trans in neutral so we can rotate the drive shaft in order to get to the pin in the carrier. You'll see that when I pull the cover off. But first things first, the cover has to come off. With reverse click. Now the top one is going to get loosened, but it's going to stay in. That way when I break the seal loose on this cover, all the fluid inside does not Exxon Valdez out and hit me in the face. There you go. More pry bar. We'll do this by way of linear impact pry bar. Get that right under there. Tap it in. That's glued on tight. That was not much oil. I wonder if it all leaked out. Gross. We have a gasket and silicone. It's one of them crappy rubber gaskets too. You gotta see?
No, I gotta see this.
Oh, that?
Does this have oil running down the side when you got it?
No.
Alright, then my vehicle's leaking oil.
Well, that's not good. The one you're working on right now?
Yeah.
Well, you should find the source of the oil leak. Okay, now that that crisis has been handled, what we're going to do here is we're going to rotate this around until we get to the bolt that holds in this center pin right here. This pin is what aligns the spider gears inside of the carrier, which are these guys right here. Yeah, there's an upper and a lower, very similar to this side gear and this side gear, and that pin has to come out. The pin has to come out because the axles have to come inward slightly so I can remove the clips that retain them and then pull the axles out of the shaft or out of the tube on both sides, and that'll allow me to remove and replace the seals that are leaking. So yeah, a lot of things have to happen before a lot of other things can happen, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we need an 8mm on an extension. We can pull this pin. Oh good, it came out. You know, last time I had one of these apart, you guys were asking me what this pin is for, and this pin holds in this pin, if that makes any sense. Alright, So we'll turn this around so I can reach into the other side. We're just gonna push this guy out. Watch this.
Yo, Ray, have you seen my tablet?
It's in good shape. I mean, I have seen your tablet. I don't know where it is currently. Now we need to keep spinning this back around because I need to get access to the gears. And we see there's a little slot right here and right here. What we're gonna do is push the axle shafts in towards the center, and it's going to expose the C-clips that are holding those axles in place. All right, that's one axle. There's two axles. Now I can go in with a magnet and try to fish those clips out, which is sometimes easier said than done. It's definitely easier said than done. Come on, come out. There we go, there's one. And the other. They have to be rotated so the C part of the clip is facing away from us. Which is also hard to do when you can't put your fingers on it. Anyway, there's the second one. Okay, let's back up and pull these axles out next. Just like that. Now going back to the C-clips, you can see how this clips into the end of the axle, and that is what retains this axle in the housing. Kind of at all times. This is the only piece of equipment that holds this entire axle shaft in, especially on an application with drum brakes. Oop, C-clip gravity. Moving around to the driver's side, let's pull this one out. Ew. Nasty. Okay, now using my master's degree of modern art, I have determined that it is now time to remove this seal. Got it. Let's take a look at how those bearings look. We're pretty good here. Yeah, there's no pitting or scoring on these bearings. I think these are okay. All right, let's check the other side too. By the way, that reference to the master's degree was a troll back to a troll. Some of you guys know who it is. Sam, I know you know who it is. Now, I'm aware that they say don't feed the trolls, but I like to do things a little bit differently. And I wouldn't actually consider that feeding the troll, because I don't hate my trolls, even though they have hatred in their heart, especially for me. I embrace them and I nurture their independent spirit, because if it wasn't for people like the trolls, then the rest of us wouldn't have anyone to make fun of. So it appears we have just hit our first roadblock. I have a new replacement wheel seal here. It's a National Oil Seals part number 4762 November, and which I do believe specs out to be correct for the car. However, we have a slight discrepancy here in size. What I think has happened here is these are axle saver bearings. Basically, it's a bearing with a different design that offsets the actual bearing material, and it encompasses one of these seals. All right, here comes my shaft. Set that down right here. And look at what we've got. So, see that little grooved area there? The shiny part, that's where the axle was riding on the actual seal that was riding right about here. This is where this bearing is contacting the axle. This area here is where the old bearing was contacting the axle. See all that pitting? Very tough to see. I don't know if you can see it in this light. Yeah, there it is. See that chewed up pitting business going on right there? That's why this thing had axle saver bearings installed. So we need to get replacement axle saver bearings. Realistically, we should just put this back together with regular bearings and replace these axle shafts. I'm gonna go let our guy know kind of what I think. If this were mine, I would just go ahead and put shafts in it, because although the axle saver bearing did offset the bearing and the seal, we can clearly see right here where this seal surface is also getting worn. And based on the severity of the leak, I would say it's actually not sealing very well. So we can try to put it back together the way they want it. It may leak again everywhere, and that will negate everything we're about to do today. Or we can change these axle shafts out, replace these bearings with the appropriate bearings and the appropriate seals, and it will be completely repaired. So I kind of have to put this on pause and go report some bad news to everybody. I'll let you guys know in 1 nanosecond what we're going to do here. Stay right there, don't go anywhere. Okie dokes, it's the next day. We've had a delivery. Our customers have chosen wisely. Let's see what we have here. I have 2 of these boxes and a knife. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Another axle seal. That's it. Let's see, a bearing, good. Some nuts. Gotta love a bag of nuts. Made in USA, that's what's up. And what else is here? I know what this is. Is a replacement axle shaft. Shiny. But I have to drive in my own studs. That's what we're gonna do real quick like. Okay, the air hammer was a dumb idea. We're gonna try this in the press next, which may prove to just be an equally dumb idea. We'll see. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. That goes there, that goes there. I'm leaving space for the flange to clear the plates. We'll try to press this down, which will effectively press these up. Is it gonna work? I mean, something has to happen, right? It's either gonna work or it's not. Famous last words. Haha, Sketch-O-Matic. Y'all check this out. Okay, pneumatic hydraulic press powering on. Send it. It's working. Now, for safety purposes, I am hiding out like over here around the corner. So if this explodes, about the blast radius. An up-close visual inspection indicates that all the studs are fully seated. This will work. All right, going in for round 2. It's heavier than it looks. I think I can press 4 of these at one time, and that is what I'm going to do. Last time we did 3 at once, and that went okay. What? You talking to me? Let's see. Let's get it all aligned and safe and organized and good. Hurrah! Where's my? There it is. Found it. This thing. Needed this thing. Uh-oh. There. Tight squeeze. Alright. Alarm! Let's do it. Cool. 4 at once. Took it like a champ. Okay, last ones. Capture. And voila. Excellent. I have achieved success. This is good. Let's see. Haven't needed this tool in a long time. Oh, bearing puller. That one. Yeah. And the slide hammer. See, what we're going to do, since we're installing new axles, is we're going to replace these axle saver bearings, which are offset, with the standard OE style bearings. So we have to pull these out because they're semi-pressed fit. Beautiful. Alrighty, got a new OE style bearing right here. That is the wrong one. Thank you, Dorman. Okay, time moves on. Deliveries have been made, and new wheel bearings are here. We can clearly see there's a huge difference in the ones that came with the axle and the ones that go to the truck. So we're gonna have to go with these ones. Fairly simple installation procedure. Set it up and encourage it with some good old linear impacts. I'm not running it into the actual rollers themselves, I'm hitting it around the race. And all the way in until it stops. There's a ridge cut in that axle tube. And the seal is next. Come on now, get in there. Got it. Okay, rather than putting this axle shaft in and putting an obstruction in my way, I'm going to go ahead and pull these shoes apart right now and start doing the brakes. Come here, pin. nasty. And that's why I have gloves. I'll keep these set up just like this. That way I have a reference for how they go back together. All right, now that we have the shoes off, let's go ahead and move on in a little bit and pull this brake line off, because we're going to change out this leaking wheel cylinder next. If I grab the right wrench. Oh, twice failure. Okay, that's loose. This is good. Time is now of the essence because we're leaking. Let's unbolt the unit. Okay, it's free from the plate. Now we just unthread it and then we put the new one in its place. And I know I can pinch this line off at the rubber line above the axle, but that will not stop the steel line from draining. But if I act quickly, we don't afford any opportunity for air to enter the line. The only air that's going to be present here is going to be inside of this cylinder, and that's a small volume, easily removable. If I get the threads to start. There we go. I just saw some bubbles coming out. That's good. See, it's self-purging now. Or self-bleeding. I need to get these mounting bolts in first before I tighten down that line, because that line has to be oriented properly to the brake cylinder. Ooh, more air just came out. See that? Whoa! Sorry guys, hit you with my wrench. Is everybody okay? And click. Okay, let's crack this bleeder and we'll let this cylinder bleed out. Let's move around to this side and we'll spray the rest of this grease off the vacuum plate. That way everything is nice and shiny when it goes back together. Nasty. I'll be back. I need to go breathe. Alright, that's pretty good. Give it a quick wipe me down. Get whatever I can get off. This is good. Alright, now let's go ahead and hang the shoes. I didn't mention it earlier, but we also ordered a new hardware kit for these shoes that came with the pins, the springs, the clips for the springs, the big springs that hold the shoes together, the little spring that holds the shoe together. We got everything. Now, for the sake of time, I've already taken the liberty of transferring the reusables over to the new set of shoes. You can see that they're not encrusted with filth. And these guys are just gonna get nuzzled right in here like so. Uh-oh, I lost a pin already. Here. What's the matter?
Job on Thursdays.
Yeah? This is a delicate balancing act the whole time. Maximum sketchiness. Hang on. Do. spring pressure. There we go. There's one. Second pin's coming through. Oh, no you don't. You will comply. Gotcha. Cool. That was easy. All right, now down here at the bottom, we're forgetting one little retaining spring. That goes here. Get in there. There. I need to pull the other end of the cable to bring that back tight again. Okay, I just discovered that the parking brake cable is broken in the frame rail over there on the other side, so that was kind of a moot point, but it's attached here, so that's what matters. Okay, next up, some folks will disagree with this. This is just what I like to do. These bearings are self-lubricated from the oil inside of the differential. It makes its way down the axle tube and floods the bearing and then lubricates the bearing. However, since this is new, I like to install a little bit of grease in there. That way, until that moment arrives when the oil does make its way down the axle shaft, these bearings will have sufficient lubricant. And so will the seal, for that matter. It couldn't hurt to have some nice thick lube on the edge right there. That's good. Alright. Okay, now we're in a position to install the axle shaft. Put it down, pick it up, wiggle it in, give it a twist, send it. There we go. Alright, let's swing on around over to the driver's side and repeat said procedure over there. There we go. Okay, bearing removal procedure beginning now. Awesome, beautiful. It's going swimmingly on this side. See, there's no accident. I've got my rhythm dialed in now. Now we're good. Come here. Rose. I wonder if this other parking brake cable's broken. Let's give it a tug and find out. No, not this one. This one's good. So let's give it a tug and remove it. Got it. Okay, so what I'm going to try to do here is expedite this as quickly as possible. I'm going to skip around a little bit since we saw most of this procedure already. I'm going to do that because I'd rather not make this a multiple part video. I've been doing a lot of that lately. So basically I'm just going to skip around a bunch. All right, that went well. Let's move around to this side and clean this drum surface up. Drum brake backing plate. What's up, man? Are we having problems with our AC machine? Not to my knowledge. Why?
There's a guy on the phone asking us to call about problems with our AC machine, and then we put in a call about our AC machine.
No, he's scamming you. You're being scammed, sir. Nobody called, unless Derek did, but doubt it. sir, we're trying to reach you about your AC's machine's extended warranty. The matter is urgent. Call back as soon as possible. Nasty. Look at that. It's gross. Alrighty, so the astute amongst you should notice a dramatic lighting difference between just a moment ago and now. And that is due to the fact that it is now the next day. We're now ready to put these shoes back together. I'll reconnect this parking brake cable. It's not functional because the other counterpart cable is broken, but I'm still gonna put it on. Like I said earlier, I want to kind of expedite this as quickly as possible, so I may be jumping around a little more often than usual. It really depends on how long I end up wanting to make this video. You guys know I don't like to get them into an hour. Folks tend to dislike that, but we'll see how this works out. Got it. Sweet. Okay, the bottom spring is up. Nice. Got it. All right, time for grease and then shaft. That came out wrong, didn't it? And smear it all in there nice like. There we go. Begin shaft insertion procedure now. All the way in. All right. Moving around to the center, back to the dip. This is the 100% most critical part of this operation. That's getting these C-clips back in. As I have touched on before, the only thing that keeps these axles in the tube are those C-clips. And without them, all is lost. Okay, so we need to turn this dip so I can get back those C-clips. I'm keeping my finger in here so that center piece doesn't fall out and drop the spider gears out of this, because that would be bad. There we go. All right. Let's see, this C-clip goes like so. Go into your home, please. There we go. Now I'm gonna go back out to the flange on the axle and pull that axle out, which will draw the C-clip into a recess that is cut into this gear, and that'll retain that clip. There, got it. Okay, that's one, and the next one's actually a little too far, and I gotta pull that out some. You see the splines sticking out right here? How's that? Nope, a little farther. A little farther, a little farther.
1 second.
There it is. That's the notch. Okay, C-clip number 2. It's going in. Excellent. Beautiful. They're both in. All right, let's spin this differential back around, and we'll put the locating pin in, and that's going to retain everything. Actually, it's 2 pins. It's one big pin and then one little pin to retain the big pin that retains the other pieces. It's like a stacked system. And just wiggle it some. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Click. Okay, next up I'm going to scrape all of this gasket material off of here, and then we're going to reseal that cover and bolt the cover on after I spray all this out. Also, what I need to do next is take both of those brake drums and bring them over to the lathe and machine those surfaces. after I clean up all the oil and whatnot out of them. There's some grooves cut into those, and since we have new shoes going on, I want a new surface on the other side of the friction material, so that's going to go onto the lathe and we're going to machine those down. That being said, that is going to be a secondary video on this car. What I'll do is just, as per my normal protocol, put a link down in this video's description that will take you over to the brake lathe machining job. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this up. Got some rotating this wheel action going here. We're just gonna go ahead and buzz off all this old sealant material and get a nice, smooth, polished finish. Look at that. Nice and shiny and blue. Okay, since we can't have blue gears, that leaves us with only one choice. Yeah, I know. I could just completely plagiarize that and stole it from Eric. Let's make it nice and shiny. I mean all of it. The gears, the pins. Ah, my face. Safety glasses. And the pinion gear all the way up front. All of it. Twist the shaft a little bit. More on the other side. Look at that. Goodbye. Reinforcements. Okay, I have to breathe. Be right back. We'll turn the gears too, just to make sure they get washed out clean. No worries, that's the locking mechanism doing its job. I was spinning one of the axles too fast and it flung the counterweights out. That engaged the notch here on the lock, which engaged the clutches. Okay, I'm gonna let this strip dry for a while. I'm gonna clean off this cover right here, and then we'll get that thing bolted back on. Oh, by the way, the parking brake cable is also on this side. I didn't show you guys that part, but I knew you would if I didn't. Okay, time to caulk my cover. It's been cleaned off. Okay, so I know that that's not caulk, it's RTV silicone. However, since it's coming out of a tube in a caulking gun, my brain associated it with caulk, and that's why I said, time to caulk my cover. All right, fill plug, coming with me. Not that way. Okay, this is going to be an easy one because we got our downward angle going. Fun part's when you're trying to pump fluid up. That never works out. Just squeeze it on in there. Ah, it's on me. It's already on me. One of the bottles was leaking in the bag, and so the bottoms of these bottles has gear oil. It's inevitable. Alright, there's one. Bottle number 2 coming in. Oh, I'm leaking at the tip. I twisted it too much and it sprung a leak. There we go. One more to go. Round 3. And we have achieved overflow. Lots of it. Perfect. Okay, let's seal it up and hose it off. Click. Done. All right, guys, we're in the home stretch. Let's go fetch those drums and get those hung, and then we will bleed the brakes, and then this job will be complete. All right, guys, that's gonna be a wrap for this particular job right here. We've got the drums all set up. Those are installed, ready to go. Fluids in, diffs clean. Seals have been done, the leaks have been solved on both sides, brake shoes replaced, leaking brake cylinders replaced, and the system has been bled. That being said, as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. I want to let you know that I appreciate you watching them, especially all the way to the end. Since you do watch them all the way to the end, I'm going to assume that you like my videos, and I hope you like them as much as I like making them for you. And just a reminder, if you want to see the video of me machining the drums on this particular car, please feel free to check the links in the video description down below. Also, you can check this link right up here, or this little square box that's going to show up any second now right here in the middle. All 3 of those will take you over to the part 2. So I'll see you guys there. Thanks again for watching, and most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later.